We talked a little bit about unemployment insurance when we talked about frictional unemployment, but I wanted to dive a little deeper and kind of talk about some of the pros and some of the cons, because this can be kind of a controversial thing. So, again, unemployment insurance, we usually call just unemployment or unemployment benefits. It's basically the check that the government writes people who, are not working, but generally we only give it to them if they are looking for work. Now, first, let's talk about why this is a good thing. So, imagine you're in a recession. Now, we've talked about how recessions kind of have this natural tendency to deepen before they get better because of the paradox of thrift. Okay. One person gets worried that, this demand is decreasing. And so they kind of rein in their money, and companies start reining in their investments and start laying people off, which kind of deepens the recession. So it's nice for the government to step in and provide a little bit of a boost. The problem is a lot of these boosts are kind of tricky. We say, okay, well, who do we want to give the money to? Recently, we sent out a stimulus check to just about everybody. Some people who needed that money, and honestly, some people who really didn't need that money. Also, there is sometimes a tendency to send this money out too late. It's pretty common for a government response to a recession to be so late that we were actually already coming out of the recession, and it can sometimes actually make the next expansion even kind of heavier, and kind of basically pouring on gasoline when the fire is already there. Um, so, what's really nice about unemployment insurance is it kicks in automatically. Okay, it's an automatic stabilizer. Now, here's what I mean by that. Um, the moment that you lose your job, you don't have to wait for Congress to write, a new bill for you to get a check. You start getting this check immediately. So um, instead of you taking this hit and then later you kind of come out of it, you're immediately getting this. And on the opposite end, um, whenever you get your job back, what happens to these checks? They stop. So if you're here, it's not going to boost you into the stratosphere. It's going to, instead of having the up and down, it kind of moves you here instead. It has this automatic stabilizing effect on the economy, which is one of the reasons it's really nice. Now, what's the downside? Okay. The downside is it um, not decrease, it increases frictional unemployment. Now, here's what I mean by that. So, remember, frictional unemployment is the unemployment that happens when you're looking for a job. Now, let's say there's no unemployment insurance and I get fired and I go, crap, I better find a job and I better find it right now. Especially if you don't have a lot of savings, then you need to feed your family. So you go out and you take whatever you can. And in some sense, that might seem like a good thing. Like, hey, it's kind of lighting a fire under you to go out and get work. The problem is, if you are desperate to get a job, the odds that you're going to take the time to find a job that's a good match for your skill set, it's not great. There's a really good chance that you're going to go out and you're going to find a job that maybe doesn't fit very well. So this is both a bad thing and a good thing. If unemployment insurance is too generous, then people will just kind of wait and wait and wait, and there's really no urgency. But if there's too little unemployment insurance, then there's this desperation to get a job immediately. So on the pro side again, um, we we expect to see a better job fit um, under this. But again, it um, decreases your motivation to get a job. So there's kind of this balance to be struck where you don't want unemployment insurance to last forever, but you don't want unemployment to be short enough that you're kind of sacrificing this better job fit and it doesn't have this stabilizing effect. All this, not to mention kind of just the benevolence factor of unemployment insurance. Like, there's an argument to be made, like, it's just the right thing to do, making sure people are taken care of. That's kind of a normative argument rather than a positive one. But so again, there's kind of a really strong argument to having unemployment insurance. But the devil's kind of in the details. How long do we want to have it? Do we require proof of job search? There's lots of little detail things that are very important to making sure that unemployment insurance is used and not abused. So this will stay a controversial issue, but I wanted to kind of enlighten you on the pros and cons.